What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode. Oh, got frog in my throat. Welcome to another episode of Recover Out Loud, episode number 89. Today we got Catherine Machowski, all the way from Massachusetts. How you doing, Catherine?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Oh man, I've had a lazy week, a very
Yeah.
lazy week. It's not that my mental health has been beat up any, but the transition from like the warm weather to the cold weather, I'm just like, I don't want to leave bed.
I hear you on that one. I
my,
think I'm
my
gonna go to bed after this.
my girlfriend calls me her little Victorian child because I lay in bed. I just play Xbox all day.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not. No, it's not. So, Catherine, would you like to give us a formal introduction of yourself?
Hi, I'm Catherine. 33 years old from Massachusetts, born and raised. Um, Spent 6 years in the army. Couple degrees under my belt, bachelor's in criminal justice. I went to school for MRI and X-ray, and I'm currently going to school for massage therapy. And I'm a recovering alcoholic,
That's
and
awesome.
that's pretty much me.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So, I met Kat on TikTok. We've been mutuals for a while now, and I've seen her journey. And before we get started, I want to say I am so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm so proud of the journey that you've made and all the progress that you've made. It's not easy.
It's not.
Definitely not easy. Um, so real quick before we get into it, massage therapy. What made you want to transition from the X-ray stuff to massage therapy?
I kind of had like a mental health crisis, and it kind of made me reevaluate like my entire life, kind of. Um, Definitely as a single mom, I need something that's flexible, something that brings in income, and something that I can potentially enjoy instead of just having to go in and punch a time clock and call it a day. So, massage therapy was on my list of things that I like to do. I like to give massages. I like to help people heal naturally instead of, you know, searching for medications and relying on that type of stuff. So, I figured might as well try to give it a shot and see if I can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And being a vet myself, done massage therapy quite a bit because of back problems and
Oh
all
yeah.
that good stuff. And so massage therapy is definitely a good way to go, at least from a patient's perspective. Now, I
Yeah.
think from your perspective, that's a very noble and honorable reason to get into it.
Thank you, cuz I also want to hopefully when I get out, I wanted to um try to get my own, you know, own practice up and running and helping veterans because I know it's expensive. So hopefully I can, give a price on what people can pay or barter system, something like that, so that people can get what they need without having to go bankrupt in the process.
Absolutely, yeah. And the VA doesn't help a lot.
Yeah.
I know when I lived in Alaska, I pretty much had to fight them to get me into massage therapy because I was like, your chiropractor ain't working. Your muscle stuff that you're doing on me isn't working because it's my spine, and like, yes, the muscles play into that, but massage therapy is going to help out quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah, I've noticed that everyone has to fight for like at the veteran hospitals and stuff for what they want. It's sad,
yeah, yeah,
but
absolutely. So we're gonna dive into it. What was life like for you before the army?
oh, it was great. Like I grew up with like such a normal family, and I was happy. I went to college. I was living the life I thought, that was, perfect, and you'd look at it from an outside perspective and say, "Oh, she's got nothing to worry about," and stuff like that. So, I lived a pretty normal life, nothing to complain about. It's just military stuff kind of triggered a lot of stuff, I guess.
So what motivated you to want to join the army?
I graduated with a bachelor's in criminal justice, so I know I wanted to kind of go on that route, but with that degree, you couldn't get really much of a job from that because it wasn't so specific enough. You'd have to go and get another degree, and then I'm like, I'm working as a meter maid in the town I was in, and people hated me. I hated my job. Like, I hated giving tickets to people. Like, I was like the person that would just stand at a car and the meter was out, and I'd be like, are they coming? So I don't have to write them a ticket, and I just like give them every chance possible. And so my aunt was in the military, so I figured, why not give it a chance? It's structured, it has physical activity, like it would be beneficial for the rest of my life, as so I thought.
Yeah, yeah. I think that we all think that when we sign our contract.
Yeah.
Um, so, so you joined the army. Where'd you go to basic AIT, all that stuff?
I went to Fort Sill and then Fort Sam.
I hate Fort Sill.
Yeah. I
I went
kind of
there.
liked it.
I went there
I
from
didn't
for
mind.
basic and AIT, and I hated it
Oh, well,
so
you
much.
went there for AIT too, so
Yeah.
basic it wasn't so bad, I don't think.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. For anybody that doesn't know where Fort Sill is in Oklahoma, I spent an extended period of time. Kat was there, and uh, for my experience, I absolutely hated it. It's a beautiful state. Oklahoma is a beautiful state, but there was just nothing to do.
It's not.
It's nothing to do. You got to go to Tulsa or Oklahoma City or somewhere outside of Lawton. It's crazy. But so you go to Fort Sam Houston, and that's in Texas for medical, yeah.
Yes, behavioral health, and I gotta say, it was an amazing experience. I liked being on, you know, with all the different, Air Force and Navy, and we all went to school together. We went to class together, so it was a very cool experience.
Very nice. Very nice. Um, where was your first duty station after that?
I was reserves, so I was sent back home to Brockton, Massachusetts, and so I was there throughout my time, and it was a good unit. It was small, but I liked going to my drill weekend. I loved going to my yearly annual drills, and it was something to look forward to. And I always, like, every time I went in, I'm like, do you know if we're going to be able to go, get deployed? And I was just so gung ho about it. And um, we just never got the chance to deploy. So it was like, shoot.
Son of a bitch.
I know. I was like the only one like hoping to get deployed, and like everyone else is like, shut up. Stop being so like happy and gung ho about everything. And I'm like, I can't. It's just who I am.
All right. So uh, prior to us hitting your military experience up, you said that it was military stuff. What about the military stuff was harder for you?
Um I think just when my trauma happened, I kind of like I reached out to my unit, I reached out to people, and I was almost treated like a pariah, kind of like almost like it was my fault, like, and like being a behavioral unit, you'd think that they'd be more open to helping, but it's like once I started my medical discharge, they were just like, "Okay, we want nothing to do with you. You're not part of our unit anymore." And I was just like, "Okay, I spent this many years with you, and you're just gonna turn your backs on me now." It was kind of a blow to me, and I looked at the army as a whole very differently after that.
I can relate when I got. when I was going through my med board, my unit pretty much was like, "Yeah, dude, you're non-existent to us," and that was one of the hardest things, right? Because you put so much time, effort, energy into that unit or into that organization, and then to just be treated like you don't exist is a shitty feeling.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's like you've grown so close to some of these people, and then all of a sudden it's just like you're out standing on your own, and you spent this much time depending on other people and being part of this tight knit unit, and they're just like, you're on your own, you know, you got to do what you got to do, but we don't want any part of you anymore. And I just, people ask me now, it's like if you go back and do it all again, it's such a hard question to answer, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Knowing what I know, probably not, but I don't know. I can't answer that question.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely, I can understand that. Um, so how was the transition like? I mean, I know it's different for reserves, National Guard, active duty. So what was the transition like for you?
It was hard because now I'm dealing with all this like PTSD stuff, and I'm new to it all, and I'm keeping it to myself. I'm not telling anybody about it, and it's lonely. It really is hard to connect with other people when they don't share the same experiences, and not a lot of people do. So I definitely went through a period of time where I wanted to die. Like I didn't want to be a part of anything anymore, and I didn't trust anybody, and I actually reached out to a therapist through the VA, through the Veteran Center in Warwick, Rhode Island. And the counselor there suggested a program in Ohio, and so I went there, and it was all women with PTSD, and it was an amazing lifesaver. At the same time, I found out I was pregnant, but that's a different story. So I was going through a lot of life, you know, changes and a lot of things thrown at me. And I think I needed that program to get me back down to, you know, where I needed to be.
What was it about that program that essentially saved you?
I think that it was just it was set up where it was all female veterans going through the same thing. It was structured again like, you know, lunch, dinner. It was like it wasn't inpatient. It was like partial, so like I could leave and, you know, sign myself out and go do some things and then come back. And it was just a bunch of women going through the same things, and I just felt connected to them. And this time they understood, because they gone through the same thing with their units, how it is when you're cut off from that unit and kind of set off on your own. And it was great connecting with them. It was great having that support, and, you know, not doing this by myself, and talking to, actually saying what happened to me and not be embarrassed or ashamed. And it was important to go to this program for me, and I will always be thankful for them for that.
I know for me, I can connect with men, but not as great as I could with veterans. Is that, kind of the same for you with women? Like you can connect with women, but you connect better with veterans.
Yes, I'm like, I'm a person that like from the get-go was like very connected more with men, and like that, and then in the military, men, and then all of a sudden this my trauma happened, and like I couldn't connect with anybody. And then but then after I found the group niche of women veterans, and that was like my niche. So I'm like, these are my people. I can connect with someone again, you know. So yeah, it's definitely different from women and women veterans. There's a very big difference. And it's hard to find women veterans that are in the same area unless you like actively search them out, and it's kind of stinky. But I've been in groups here and there through the VA, so that was nice. But then you don't really get their, personal information, so you can reach out and like
Yeah.
message them, which I kind of struggle with. But
Yeah. I know for me, I connect better with, and it's weird because you were talking about niches, like certain, niches that you connect with. And for me, like, I connect best with like justice involved veterans that have, gotten out, gotten some trouble for substance abuse or mental health stuff, uh, went to jail, and now they're working on changing their lives and improving their lives because I was there once too, right?
yeah,
And so for me, I connect better with them than I do with like veterans in general, right? And
sure,
because we're all
yeah,
so different, we're all so different. We're all in different phases of our life, but like where I'm at, I'm able to connect with like people who are just getting out of jail, just entering into a recovery program, and I'm like, hey, look, I changed my life. You can too,
you,
homie.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
great though
yeah,
that you
yeah,
found your people.
yeah. And our peoples change sometimes.
Oh
They
yeah, for sure.
transition. Uh, so you mentioned addiction. What happened there?
So in the military, it's big when like whether you're reserves or active, you just find yourself doing it out of socialization. I think I just have an addictive personality, so I would just drink until I couldn't drink anymore, and it was a problem where I would black out a lot, and I don't remember a big chunk of my past. I would drink on drill. I was drinking in AIT coming to formation, and I was puking my guts out, and they're just like, "Oh, she has food poisoning. We went out to dinner last night, and my platoon had my back." But on the other hand, it's like I had a big problem, and it followed me, especially after my trauma. Like I would use it as a tool to, numb myself out, and it kind of compounded to the fact where I was in trouble, and I couldn't I'm I found it hard to call myself an alcoholic. Like that was my biggest thing. I'm like, no, I have a problem with alcohol.
Yeah.
Like I can drink sometimes and be fine, but other times I'm just going to drink until something bad happens or I end up in the hospital. So,
You hit on something that I feel like I get on a soapbox when I talk about it, and that's that the military assists in an addiction, but they don't really necessarily help. I've been through the substance abuse program. I'm pretty sure you know what that is. The substance abuse program in the Army, ASAP, Army Substance Abuse Program, and like I found it as a joke because I wasn't ready for it. Right? Like they were like, "Oh, alcohol could kill you." I'm like, "Yeah, it could. It
yeah.
could fucking kill me, right? But like realistically, it's not gonna kill me right now, so I'm good." Um, but the army in general or the military in general kind of breeds that addiction, right? And then feeds it. And then when you do some dumb shit, they're like, why couldn't you control it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you didn't really help me with these fucking skills here, guy.
I'm just
So,
going to counsel you, and then
yeah,
you just sign this piece of paper and you're,
yeah,
bye. It's like,
yeah, yeah. We're gonna counsel you. Maybe you might get Article 15, some extra duty, depending on how bad you do. It's shitty. It's a terrible situation. It's a catch 22, really. So when you got out of the army, did the addiction like just really start taking over, or was it like it just crept in?
it was horrible from when I got out. Like, I would just go out drinking. At this time, I had my son. I wouldn't drink while I was in care of him, which is my reasoning for I didn't really have a problem because when I have my son, I'm completely fine. But when I wasn't, I was drinking way too much, blacking out, doing stupid things, getting in the hospital, having to, get my stomach pumped, and all this really, really poor behavior. And it's like, I didn't really see how bad it was from my perspective. Other people would, comment on it. And I'm just like, no, like other people do this and they're fine, So I'm okay.
Yeah. Dude, we're like our stories are kind of similar, man. Like people would come up to me like, "Hey, young, you've got a fucking problem with drinking," and I was like, "No, I've you have a problem with my drinking. I don't have a problem drinking. All right." God.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so that's wild, and I think you mentioned that you had a problem with calling yourself an alcoholic. Why was that?
I don't know. It's just there's always a stigma around people saying that you're an alcoholic, and I'm just like, if I'm in that category is going to stay there my whole life. And I'm like, I am not an alcoholic. Like, I want to be able to have a drink when I want to. And I felt like, people are going to look at me with, like, I have three heads if I'm drinking, a glass of wine. And should you do that? Are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, I didn't want to call myself something I wasn't until I was sure I was.
Yeah, yeah. Um, the stigma is really big around that, and I had a counselor once ask me, a substance abuse counselor. She said, "Are you an alcoholic?" And I said, "I don't know. You're the counselor, right?"
You tell me.
Yeah, you fucking tell me. And she's like, "Well, here's all your symptoms." And I was like, "Okay." And then she was like, "Now, are you an alcoholic?" I was like, I guess I am." And she's like, "I don't believe you." And I was like, what kind of fucking trick question is this, lady? Come on.
What do you mean?
What are you trying to tell me here? And she was like, "The reality is that if you go and you tell people in public that you're an alcoholic, they're not gonna they're not going to believe you because you don't live under a bridge. You're not homeless. You
Yeah.
have money. You don't fit the stereotypical like what we think of when we think of alcoholic or addict. And the perception is you haven't lost everything, right? But it's the addiction is very personal to you, and that's you know I think that rings true for you too. Is like we don't fit that mold of stereotypical alcoholic, so therefore it's hard for us to like be like I'm a fucking alcoholic.
Yeah. Everyone just like it's tough to this day because like people will still, obviously it's gonna be around me my whole life, but like when I'm not drinking, everyone's like, "You want a
Yeah,
drink? Like, why aren't you drinking?" I'll be like, I don't want any." And they'll be
yeah,
like, "Why?" Like, it's just not, people don't take, just like, just leave it alone, just let it go. If someone doesn't want to drink,
yeah.
don't force it. And then I got a job in a liquor store, which was its own battle.
Sheesh. Oh yeah, I can understand that. So at what point did you realize like it became too much and like you kind of like metaphorically hit a rock bottom?
I think it was when I was driving home and I like sideswiped somebody and I just kept driving. Um, as I say this online. But I and then I ended up in the hospital, and my mom had to like come, and she was just yelling at me, and I'm just like, yo, I'm like 23, like I don't have a problem, but it just kept going, like 23, 25, 26. Like I just still to this day struggle with drinking. Like I am like I can't put together a whole like couple years. Like I'm about a year sober now. I can barely put together 2 years. And like to me, I'm like such a failure for that. Like I can't, I'll go out, and it's not like I'll go out binge drinking, but I'll have like a like a glass of wine or two, and then I'm just like, oh, my sobriety is out the window. That's why I hate, using a date of sobriety because I don't want to think of myself as a failure for having those two drinks. Like for me, that's a win because I stopped myself from like going too far. So it's an ongoing issue, and I'm going to struggle with it for the rest of my life. And I don't want to be someone who sits there counting the days and be like, oh my God, today I can't drink. What if I have a drink tomorrow? And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just a lot of thoughts in my noggin.
Well, I can tell you, from my experience, I don't think that you're a failure. I think every day that you're sober is a success, huge success. I think every hour, every minute that you're sober, for yourself is a huge success. Um, I was one of those people at the beginning of my recovery where I counted every day. It was like 30 days, and I was like, I made it 30 days.
Yeah.
And it was like 60 days. But then like I realized like if I focus on the days, like I'm not focusing on everything else. Right. If I try to accumulate that shit and then like let's say something did happen and the relapse came, I would be like, fuck, I'd be exactly where you feel you are now, right? Like that feeling of I'm a fucking failure. Um but we're not, right? And you're not. I find inspiration from you. I really do.
Oh, thank you.
I really do. I really do. One day at a time, and sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. Um, but you mentioned a like huge mental health crisis. What happened there?
So I um, decided that I wanted to come off my mental health meds. I had been on them for a while, and I was thinking that they were making me zombie like and like just I didn't feel like myself. And then so I decided to come off them. I came off them slowly, but I did it without my psychiatrist's knowledge. And so I had a psychotic episode. And things just, I was suspicious of my mom. Like, I thought she was trying to take my son away from me. I thought she was trying to keep me in the house, like, keep me from moving out. Like, I had like this really, like, afraid of everybody and everything. And I ended up in the hospital for a few weeks. And it made me reevaluate like what I wanted to do with my life. And it just, it hit me hard that I wasn't going back to the life I had before I was in the hospital. And even right now, like I'm in a severe depression because I'm definitely not where I want to be at 33 years old. Like I thought I'd be in my own place. I thought I'd have my own career, and I have none of those. So in my mind, I'm a big huge failure for these things, but I have to like kind of talk to myself and be like, not a lot of people are where they want to be, and I got to stop comparing myself to other people. So like this thing happened to me. It's my trauma in the military. That's why I'm 100% disabled through the military, because I can't function without meds. I can't function like other people.
Yeah,
So it's hard for me to connect with other people because of that. So,
yeah. I when I entered into recovery, I was taking some meds, and I'm not gonna mention what they were, but I was taking some meds, and like the first meds that I took were like I felt numb to everything. You could have said, "Hey, I came and killed your family," and I would be like, "How'd you do it?" And that was like a shitty feeling. And I told my doctor. They switched it up, put me on another med, and it was like I was just fucking perpetually happy all the time. And I didn't want to be happy all the time, right? I wanted to learn how to
right.
manage these
Yeah.
fucking emotions and these feelings. And finally, after I graduated from my program, I told my doctor, said, "No more meds, dude. Like, no more fucking.
Yeah.
I am still a goddamn hot mess, okay? Like, I am an emotional hot mess. Um, but it's good to feel those feelings sometimes. Except for that, the depression's a nasty one. The depression is a fucking nasty one. I know what it does for me. But what are you doing for yourself now to help yourself out?
That's a good question because I'm kind of like this, like doing this with you is helpful. It's getting me out of my comfort zone. I'm trying new things. Because just a little while ago, it's like, I'm going to just message him and be like, no, I don't want to do it. And then crawl into bed and just sleep for the rest of the day. But I know that if I do that, I'm just going to make myself feel worse. And overall, it's not going to help. So I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to eat, drink more healthily, obviously not drink. I even stopped smoking, which is a big deal for me. But I haven't figured out what I need to do to bring my passion back. Like I don't feel joy like other people, and I just don't know really how I'm gonna find that again, which is scary, but it's a part of my life now, so I have to learn to live with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can relate. There are days and times where I have a recording and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do it. It's not the guest. I'm just like, man, I'm not feeling it. But like, I get something that I need out of it, and so it's a huge blessing to do it. Uh, Now you started like a podcast, yeah?
I did a couple like episodes, and then I just kind of I was like going on about it, and I'm like, I don't really have much to talk about anymore. Like it just kind of faded out. Um, because I don't know really what to make my episodes about and stuff like that. So I kind of just like pushed it on the back burner.
Mm, mm.
Um, but
Any idea of like what you want to do with it?
no, no,
I
I don't know.
might be able to help you out. I got some ideas in the think tank that I don't pull the trigger on today. But anyways, Catherine, in your opinion, what does the future look like for you?
That's the scary thing, and what I talked to my therapist about. I'm a perpetual worrier about 5 and 10 years from now, and she told me like not to do that anymore. But I'm just hoping that I can, stay in my recovery journey and hopefully find my happiness. Whether I want to move out, I want to get my own place. I don't even care if it's an apartment or a house at this point. I definitely want to finish school, even if I don't get a job as a massage therapist. I just want to finish school. Um, because I do make money, through the military, thankfully. So like if this doesn't work out, I'm not going to be out on my butt, I'm going to have something to fall back on. But I definitely want something to take up my time and give me something to look forward to, and
Absolutely.
hopefully raise my son to be the best he can be, and I hopefully he'll be proud of me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, one of the things that I noticed, and this is a little off topic, there is a lot of people on TikTok that talk about like mental health and addiction stuff like that. Do you have a pet peeve when it comes to that area of TikTok?
No, I like when people like post about their struggles and everything like that. I am drawn to that side of TikTok. I hate this new TikTok where it's everybody's selling everything. It's like I want my old TikTok back. Like I understand that you guys have your, small businesses, but I just I don't see stuff that's going to help me out through the day, and it's kind of sad,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I've noticed that too. The massive change from like 2021 to now is just it sucks. I want my old TikTok back, dude.
I know.
Uh,
I want like the funny videos, even like because I follow some mental health like people too, and I like seeing the ups and the downs
yeah,
through their life, because it's like, that's real. Like you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. Like not one person that I know is like perfectly happy all the time. Like it's unrealistic.
yeah, yeah. I think for me, like one of the things that bothers me about that side is when people when people use their symptoms to treat other people like a certain kind of way, be
Oh
super
yeah.
nasty. They're like, "Oh, I'm just bipolar." Well, yeah, okay, that's cool, but that doesn't give you the right to act that way to other people.
Right. That's true. Like they use their disease, well, their whatever they're diagnosed with, and they try to, they're like, "Oh, this is why I'm, the way I am," which it makes sense, but like you're not even trying to change. You're not even trying to try to be a better person. You're just like using your illness as an excuse, and it's not right. Like you just should be, it's so easy to be like a nice kind human being. Like I don't understand.
Yeah,
I
I
never
mean, we
did.
we have all the propensity in the world to be assholes, right? And like
Yeah,
just give that off and spew that off. But it's so much easier to be nice and just
it
be like, all
is.
right, cool. I actually had a conversation with somebody the other day. I think it was actually my dad. And I was talking, like, I was just bitching. I was like, man, I was making a series of these videos and these people were pissing me off. He was like, you have the right, you have the ability to not say anything. And I was like, fuck, you are right. I'm like,
Like,
God damn
dang
it.
it. You're
Damn it,
right.
Dad. Fuck, you're right.
Yeah,
Dad, damn it. I want to hate you so much for what you just said,
I
but you're
know.
right.
But it's absolutely true. And people need to use that skill more often.
Yeah.
Like, just shut your mouth. Like,
Yep. Yep. So, anyways, Catherine, before we wrap it up, do you have any suggestion or advice for people that are going through what you're going through currently and they want to seek some help?
I think the important thing is the actually asking for help. It's the hardest part because you acknowledge that something's wrong, but you don't say it to anyone. And the first step is saying that out loud to someone you trust, and don't give up, because finding someone to help is a journey in itself. And as long as you keep trying, you're going to find someone that fits what you need. Um, but keep pushing and it'll come, it'll find you in the right time. Just don't give up.
Absolutely. And where can we find you at? Not physical location, but where can we find you on social medias?
Just my TikTok. I forgot what it's called. Cat's Mindfulness. I've been off for a while, but I came back. So
Yep. Yep. Welcome back. Welcome back.
thank you. It was a nice break.
I bet I do. You know what? Like, if I didn't have this, like, the podcast, I would not be on social media at all. And like, I'm kind
Yeah.
of like, I started on TikTok, as just a way to release some tension, but then it kind of became this thing, and now like now I'm like, I don't really want to go back. I don't want to go back, but I have things to promote and stuff like that, and I like engaging with some of the people, but most of the people I don't.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I get all this like attention and stuff from people that like are just wanting either money or just weird demands, and I'm like, nope, I need to find my people.
Yep, absolutely. But anyways, Kat, I want to say thank you for being here, for sharing your
Thank you
story.
for having me.
And no problem, no problem. And thank you for hanging out and just talking with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was an easy conversation. I'm usually very awkward on these things, but it was easy.
Well, I try and prevent, or not prevent. I try and present a very safe space for people to have conversations.
It's good. What you're doing here is important.
Thank you, thank you, and everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for being here, being present, and go give Kat a follow. She's awesome. Her link is going to be in the bio. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Much love.